turn off the. Okay, let me start that again. So we're recording. This is the September 7th, Wednesday, September 7th, Southampton Council on Aging Board meeting. It is 4 o'clock and we are calling the meeting to order and we are being recorded. So now I'll bring the minutes up again. First thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes. Did anybody have anything, any corrections they saw up to this point?
No corrections that I had seen in this, and I would make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
Okay. Any additional discussion on the minutes? Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, minutes passed, as written. Okay, now let me look for the treasurer's report to bring up real quick. Hopefully it's handy. There it is. Does everybody see the report, treasurer's report?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't because I don't have, I'm not getting my email, but.
Yeah, okay. Nancy, anything you want to, so we got to work on the percentages, right? So.
I think I got them. That is an old one.
Oh, it is an old
That's not the one that I sent the
Okay.
other day. It should all be in there now.
Oh, yes. Here it is.
And everything looks good, honestly. They matched up to Vicky's numbers pretty well. I mean, they look like they're off, but it was because she didn't have the 9/26 payroll in there.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I thought I saved the last minute, so let me see where they might be.
Can I share my screen?
If this isn't up, here we go. I opened it. Let me try to share this, Nancy, and then see if we can. If not, then off we go.
I'm learning so much about Excel. It's kind of exciting.
A new language.
Here we
I
go.
actually figured out how to put the percentages in there. So
Did you talk to Josie or did you do it on your own?
I did it on my own. But I asked Josie if it was correct.
We're good. Yeah, so we're done with a quarter, basically, right? So this is the end of the first quarter, so
Wow.
everything seems to be in line.
And Janet, just a quick question. Why is under your picture listed Edward Gibson?
Because I sign into the town account for this, and so that email is under his name.
Thank you.
I don't want to be mistaken as I'm town administrator, I don't want to be mistaken as the town administrator.
Okay, thank you.
I'm afraid if I change it, I'm going to be Ed Gibson. I'm going to be Janet Kane, town administrator, when everybody else logs in. So
Right.
that's why. I can figure out how to do that. I just haven't.
But once the COA has their own Zoom, will you switch to that or are you going to stay with the town?
As long as it can be linked in to be recorded
Oh,
for
true.
the meetings, yeah. So we'll work on that. Yep. That way it would be easier because we have to be done before 5:30, which I know breaks everybody's heart because there's a follow-on meeting. So there's a follow-on meeting to this. So any other questions or do we have a motion for that? Thank you, Nancy, very much. A motion for the,
I make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report as presented.
okay, do we have a second?
Can I second it? Second.
Okay, you can second it, yeah. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Good job. Okay, great. All right, Josie's not, I just want to make sure I didn't miss Josie yet. Okay, so, September minutes, treasurer's report, director's report. Let's see where I have that hidden.
And I'd be glad if Francine wants to go first, but if she doesn't mind sticking with us, then I'll go first.
Yeah, why don't you go, you okay to go? You got a little more time, right, Francine, and then you'll go next?
Yeah, I'm fine. That's good.
Okay.
Okay. So boy, the whirlwind month. Even though we're closed, we're very busy.
Yes.
So we have our new driver who's been training. He only has 2 more trainings. I can put him on the road. We're scheduling those in correspondence with Frida. The new desktops are there, and they're Windows 10, and we're the envy of the whole town hall. And we have Zoom capabilities, so I can put on line dancing or bingo or have a meeting right from the office.
That's great.
Yes, it is.
And so, but we don't have our Zoom yet, right? Even though you can log into Zoom, but you can't host a Zoom yet unless you
We're
Zoom.
not hosting Zoom yet, but I did tell Lori that I would get it before she came back. So it gives me, how many days is she gone?
I think you got, did she just leave Saturday? So you got another week and a half.
Okay, it's going to happen.
Okay.
We had a meeting today that was kind of last minute about the CARES Act, so that took an hour. But I know Friends is probably going to talk about the gift bags, which they helped to put together, but that was an outstanding program. A lot of great feedback. We got thank you letters. When somebody would come in for a piece of equipment, I would give them a care bag, and they sent thank you cards, and they thought it was wonderful and that we're doing a great job and that we're blessed to have us all working so hard for our senior population.
And that's good to know. And again, these are kind of things that could be paid for by the CARES Fund, even the luncheon, if you're there to assemble during the lunch period of time, I guess we could always request that. I mean, I know we're going to be going inside soon, but.
Is that what you think? I don't know if that's so true, but I know some centers are opening. I know I did get to visit Hadley. They technically opened June 1st, but couldn't open their doors, but they recently opened for small venues with social distancing and masks, but their place is 5 times bigger than ours.
Right.
So they have the ability to distance. From what I can tell from the health department, we are not opening anytime soon.
And are you working on the format that's required?
I have the form started. I've got 3 projects going at the same time, so I'm not finishing any of them, but I've got them started.
The ball is in the air.
The ball is in the air, and I feel like I have been juggling and juggling and juggling. So it depends on what ball I have in my hand at the time. It's not a pickleball.
So let me ask you a question. Are the phones being picked up remotely now, or are you still picking up the phones?
So I am still picking up the phones. We did attempt that. The last chance was for us to pull out one of the lines and see if she could answer one phone. Mm-hmm. But we haven't gotten there yet. If I need to quarter off an hour or 2 to work on a report, I am going to attempt that on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
It didn't work this week for many reasons, but there was a lot going on. I mean, I can't tell you my play-by-play, but I obviously attended the Friends meeting yesterday, which was wonderful. And so I am in and out of the building today. I drove over to someone's house to get them in on Zoom bingo, which we were successful. But these are the kind of things I'm doing sometimes after 3 o'clock, sometimes during the my work hours, dropping off walkers or dropping off sand to somebody or doing the gift bags. So I've been relatively busy doing other things, but I need to get the reports obviously finished.
Okay, and if anything of those things are required due to COVID, if you have to go to help somebody set up because they're out of the office because of COVID, then we should add mileage to our request.
Correct.
Okay, so that you get paid for that mileage out of COVID. So
I can do.
Okay, and then you want to move on to? Is there anything else here that you want to point out specifically?
I wanted to thank Darlene before we go to her program that she did activate all 5 of our devices, the outside devices, and 1 is in loan already. So that program is starting to expand and develop. We just still need the Wi-Fi piece for those who don't have Wi-Fi.
Okay.
But I'm working hard on doing a mass mailing, which we made, Francine may touch base on that as well, which would be COVID care funds. But I'm working with a group out of Holyoke that would fold and distribute. We just send them, we get the newsletters to them. We get the Excel sheet and they do everything. We just have to figure out the permit. I don't know, I don't have a cost on it yet, but I'm going to get that. But other centers do that, Belchertown, some other centers do it. They send it out every month and they don't have, right now, we don't have volunteers to help us with that.
Right. So, I mean, those are a good COVID-related expense. So,
Yes.
And I just also want to welcome Josie.
Hello, sorry to be late.
That's okay. So just now that Josie's here to confirm in attendance, Janet Kane, Chair, Joan Linehan, Director, Nancy Ruscio, Treasurer, Yvonne Betty Davis, Kay Lorigan, and Josie Alderman, members. Thank you. Just wanted to wait till Josie. So before, I said Kay Lorigan.
Did you say Francine Tishman?
Oh, sorry, Francine Tishman from the Friends. Sorry about that.
And that's from Friends, not the select board.
That's from
liaison.
Friends, right? Yeah, she's not
So we don't
representing.
have a select board liaison today. Just for the minutes.
Not in total, because I don't think she's going to stay for the whole meeting. Right, Francine?
Right.
Okay.
I have unused.
She was just here as the Friends, just to really give an update on some of their brainstorming from yesterday. Before we move off of Jones and go into Darlene, I wanted to read something to everyone. Good morning, Joan. Congratulations and welcome. At our October 5th meeting, the board voted to appoint you as the Southampton Council on Aging representative to the Highland Valley Elder Services Board.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! The
Congratulations,
first
Joan.
meeting with the board will be November 2nd from 2020 from 2 to 4. You receive some forms and documents of which will be the board contact sheet. If you would please forward your preferred mailing address, blah, blah, blah. But congratulations, Joan.
Hi.
Not that we worried about that, but.
I did. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
that brings a tear to my eye, but thank you. I'm
Yes.
excited about it. And
Yep.
before we move to Darlene's, there's 2 other things I think are very important. One of all, it's fuel assistance, and we're already getting calls for that. And the other thing
Weather
is-
alert, severe thunderstorm warning.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. No,
You're
that was
okay?
my phone misbehaving.
That's okay. If it's important, let us know.
No, it was a.
Yeah, it's only a thunderstorm warning, yeah.
Yes, it's not
And-
important.
We lost our Shine counselor. She got a paying job in Southwick, so we have a new Shine counselor named Andrea Holmes. And so everything's remote. We're not meeting in the office, obviously, so she's already got a couple referrals.
Okay.
So what's her name? Andrea Holmes?
Correct. And by the way, Josie, you don't have to take minutes
Yes,
because
Josie, Nancy's taking the minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I owe you so much.
Okay.
Said that since she was going to start out with it, she has her recorder, so she's recording, so.
Oh, that's good.
Rather than us try to patch it together.
Right. Good.
So you're off the hook. We just want Jim to be well, that's all.
Yeah.
So anything else on this, Joan, before we go to Darlene's?
No.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, and everybody can kind of read through this if you haven't already, but I think the updating of the database is great. And the care bags. So how many people were at bingo today, Joan?
6, I believe, although the McMillions, there's 2 at that house, so.
Okay, so that makes 7. Okay. You're not letting them cheat or anything, are you?
I have nothing to do with that part of it, but we do have several Lori's our caller and she's in Florida, so we had to, we have a couple people that have the ability to call, which I was one of them, and I was ready to take out my bingo cards and my master board just in case. But anyway, Darlene was able to get through, so.
Okay, great. So, and I know Darlene's been inputting the Tai Chi class and the pickleball class for us. I have a spreadsheet I'm collecting. I'm going to be sending to her after tomorrow for pickleball. All right.
She's been so good about getting the Zoom things going, and she's doing a diamond painting. If anybody likes to try this diamond painting, I think it's the 20th. I could be wrong, though.
So let me ask you a question. Is she not, with all this other activity she's doing, not really doing any outreach calls at this point?
I would say neither are doing extra outreach calls at this point.
Okay.
I think we're doing other things right now, but I think that the outreach will resume. Like, I think we should go back either from, the results we had from the beginning and start again. It's been almost 7 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say,
Okay.
I know Flo does do a lot of follow-up. She has a lot of connections in town, and we did do the outreach with the care bag, so we saw other people. So yeah, I would say the calls have dwindled, but I think they should resume again.
Okay. And did you get our sheet with the updated information too on some of the Mary's phone number? What's Mary's last name on Pomeroy Meadow Road?
Where did I put that? I think it's in the box. I haven't updated it yet,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I have it.
There was a couple things, an address and an update on the phone number. Okay.
I have.
It was Mary Courtney.
Yes, Courtney, thank you, on Pomeroy Meadow. Okay, and then Flo, yes, she continues reaching out with the cards. And so is she, if we give her our RSVP hours, will she input them for us?
I believe yes.
I know I get the email and I never answer it, so I need Flo to nag me.
Okay, I can tell her that.
Okay.
I did give her, one of her main jobs when she was in the office was the service list, which is the volunteers that for, plumbing, electrician, and transportation. Obviously, since I take the phone calls, I've had to do much of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a second part to that, a checkup to see how they did, like were they able to reach somebody, were they happy with the work, etc. So I was able to hand that to Flo in the parking lot so that she can do the follow-up calls.
Okay, good, great.
And they are doing their own payroll now, and they send it by phone, like similar how you do your pickleball checklist or Tai Chi. They send it by phone. So, because up until about a month ago, I was doing everybody's payroll, which was too much.
Okay, and I'm doing it more electronically now, so I know I may take a picture of the Tai Chi and then send it to her. Okay, all right. Anything else? Any other comments on the report here?
Great job.
Thanks for all three of us. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Yes, we may be closed, but we're not stopped.
Right.
Okay, now I asked Francine to really not talk a lot about Friends other than to talk about the some of their brainstorming they went through, and now I have to see if I have that someplace.
Don't forget to unmute yourself. There you go.
Got it.
Okay,
I'm
let me just, I know I had this, Francine, so let me find out where it is.
I sent it out at 10:32.
Right, no, I mean, I copied it to a,
Okay.
okay. So let me try to get back to Zoom. This multitasking is tough,
I give you credit. I'm glad it's you, not me.
Well, once you get set up, then, no. So this is, this is the information. So everybody received, and we'll talk about what we met with. Joan and I and Lori met with Kate Rook and Chris Fowles, who have, sitting on an ad hoc grant committee. So we had some ideas from that meeting. And we'll talk about that in a little bit under new business. And then the Friends met yesterday, and so I asked Francine if they could kind of brainstorm about some of their ideas and expand, if it expanded our list, or, because it's not just about 2 or 3 seniors. I want to make sure that everybody has buy-in on this and not dump everything in Joan's lap to take care of, so.
When was the Friends meeting?
It was yesterday.
Tuesday, the 6th,
Thank you.
at 11 o'clock in the outdoor gazebo, which I think we should touch base on after sometime.
So Francine, I don't know, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the 5 grand pads for loan program?
So we'll get through this list. So Francine's
Okay.
going to go right through the list, Josie, and we'll talk a little bit about each
All right.
one of those. These, again, this is not a final list. This is just some kind of a combination of when we met with the grant committee and some additional ideas from the Friends. So
Brainstorming.
Okay. So 6 of the 7 Friends board members were at the meeting, and Joan joined us because we want to make sure that we coordinate and communicate with one another. So just looking at the list is pretty self-explanatory. I sent it out to everyone at the meeting. I've not heard back from anyone to say that what I have listed here, they're not in agreement with, and whether or not I missed anything, I haven't heard. So I'm assuming that, and Joan, that I covered everything that we talked about yesterday. Some of it, as Janet said, is replicated, but you know, the needs are what they are, they wanted to reinforce. But anyway, we're looking at,
Francine, I'm going to say let me mute me because I know we're getting a lot of feedback here. So
is this better? No, is it?
There's still feedback of some sort.
Yeah, there is.
Janet, you'll send this list or Francine to me?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I'm hearing the feedback as well. All right. Well, anyway, thank goodness it's in writing. You can follow along and get understand it. All right. Anyway, you know, we're relying more and more on staying safe, and that means spending time outdoors. And so thinking tent, which I believe came up in other discussions, that we thought about a retractable awning on the side of the building at the senior center. All right. I'm going to move the hope that we can eliminate the feedback. There we go. I'm just going to head downstairs. I'll be right with you.
Well, while she's getting set up, we met with the department heads as well. And I brought up the possibility of a retractable awning or a permanent structure. I think they don't want to get into capital costs. They don't want to spend, there's over $500,000 to spend through the whole town. But as far as building like a construction similar to Conant Park, which we could have used 2 of the other day, I don't see that happening. So anyway, are you all set? All right. You have to unmute. You have to unmute her. Yeah.
done. All done. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm here now. All right. So anyway, in lieu of a tent, something a little more permanent that doesn't require assembly and storage and all of that other stuff, we are recommending a retractable awning with a remote control. It would cover an area of 16 by 20. It would be attached to the side of the building over the patio. And so we're looking at, and hopefully we'll have drop down sides so that it can block some of the wind. We're looking at about $3,500 there. I don't have a price, but I'm sure it was easy to get. If we have such an outdoor environment, we are talking about adding electrical outlets to that exterior wall so that we could plug in whatever devices we needed, screens and so forth, so that we can get the maximum use out of that space. I apologize for the dogs in the background. They were very quiet until Janet went upstairs. Okay. All right, the next item is to continue, is to do grab and go prepared meals for people, at least 2. And we're looking at about 70 people. Joan, that number went up because subsequent to our meeting yesterday, Andrea recommended that we include veterans in this process. So, and I'm sure many of the veterans are also seniors. So, but that adds to the number of people going up from the typical 50, 55 people who participate in lunches to bring it up to 70. And we're estimating about $2,000. The senior activity books, which we would have liked to have included in the first care packages, but they were cost prohibitive. We want to put it here. We estimate about $8 a book. It would be puzzles and word finding activities and Sudoku and, you know, maybe some other things that I don't know, but 100 of those would be about $800. We talked about, since we rely very heavily on distributing the newsletter, you know, by hand as opposed to by mail, we do 2 mass mailings, and that would be about $2,000 at 46 cents a newsletter. People talked about it, I guess it was Joan who can elaborate on this. In addition to the grab and go meals, perhaps finding a way of providing shelf-stable food for people who may be food insecure, you know, or people who don't have regular grocery deliveries or can't get out as much. And this would be a little way of perhaps us backfilling. I'm thinking that maybe we could do this in conjunction. We haven't talked with them yet, but the existing food pantry.
I would expect that shouldn't be a big problem. I think they'd be happy to help.
Because I know that's what they do, shelf-stable food.
Mm-hmm.
So that would work. And then we talked about these 5 grand pads, and that is in addition to, it's the senior version of an iPad, of a laptop, of a tablet. And so we put in, we recommended 5. They could be used by the instructors or by class participants. We were thinking that, going to the next item, that if we had someone to train seniors on the use of this technology, as well as Zoom, as part of this loan program, that having 21-hour sessions at $50 a session, which would be the going rate, that hopefully we could increase the utilization of the equipment that we have available on loan, and also the comfort level of the instructors in using it. So to expand the kinds of classes that could be available online in the event that we don't get back, or in the event that we do, but at reduced numbers, so some people could participate in person, some people could participate remotely, and cover it that way.
Can I interrupt? So we only have one computer going here, so for some reason, I think there's feedback from
somebody
else. So if everybody could just maybe mute themselves for now till we get through this. I don't know if everybody else is hearing the feedback, but I logged.
Yeah, it's there.
So if everybody could mute and see if that makes a difference. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And I'm not sure if this is possible, but we're talking, we thought about expanding the Zoom-based instruction to include more classes than we currently offer. And this way, what we would have to do with this, according to the terms of this grant, is probably prepay them for the lessons in advance that they would do, because my understanding is the money has to be spent by the end of December. Is that what you heard this morning, Joan, or at your earlier meeting? Okay, so this would be, this would be advance payment for services yet to come, because we know that we're not going to be back there physically by December, after December 31st. Like January 1st is not going to be the magic date. The other issue that did come up that we talked about, and I know the school was challenged by this as well, but designated hotspots, many people don't have internet access. So we have this equipment that we hope to make available for loan, but it's not going to work if they don't have internet access. So we were trying to think about, I know the school has set up, the school district, some hotspots in different locations in the 5 towns, and maybe working with our school, we could find out where they have theirs and where else some might be added to better accommodate seniors. We talked about that. I know that the librarian.
Yeah, the library seems to have really good Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
so.
that people sit outside in their cars at the library and use their Wi-Fi. So if we could think of some other locations. We don't have a cost on that. That would be, we'd have to find that from the IT person. And we put this in whether or not, this is not a final decision. This is just conversation. But a temporary part-time person to conduct wellness checks for seniors. And I know that Darlene and Flo have been doing it. I guess, what I was thinking I know they can't go physically to places, but perhaps they could check in on some people who are really, really isolated more frequently.
This other person, if we
Yes, another person to do that, yes. And then talking about the grant allows for use of, to use mileage to reimburse people's mileage for prescription drug and food deliveries. And I'm sure we'll find many seniors in that situation, and that would relieve them of some burden if that was a concern for them. And then finally, Joan talked about the care bags, $900 for 75 care bags. We upped the number, including some of the things that we had in the first round and perhaps some others. And so that's the end of our wish list.
So can I also make a comment about the care bags? I know they were great, but we delivered a few of them, Francine and I, and some of them had ties behind their head. And
The masks.
The mask, yes, and sorry, not the bags, the mask. And we got feedback from people saying, I can't really tie it. So maybe if we can just focus behind the ears, as easier for some of the much older seniors.
Well, these were homemade masks. So
Right.
I think if we go more commercial with the behind the ear things, reusable though.
Yes, cloth. or something.
Not the one-time, single use paper ones. I think that would be a big help to people. All right.
Okay.
Good.
Let me just sneak in and
that's-
I logged you off because I didn't know where. I think the feedback might have been. So you want to try unmuting everybody?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, hold on. Let me try to get Kay unmuted. Kay, can you I muted you, Kay. Can you unmute your phone? Do you know where the mute button is? Hopefully. Okay.
Yeah. Did she?
Yeah. Okay, there should be a mute button because it won't let me unmute you. You have to unmute yourself. Okay. Oops, sorry. So any thoughts or comments?
Somebody had a question.
Yes, Josie.
Yeah, it's a comment and question. With the, since I lost your list here,
Yeah, let me try to get back. I'm sorry.
the food for the seniors who are food insecure and doing something with the food pantry.
Mhm.
If there's some way you want me to help with that, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Well, I think Joan did you reach the Iwanikis?
So I have not reached anyone. I found out from Janet that Mike Iannicki and Candy Dunn were the people, but I was reaching out to Josie and to Chris Falls.
Okay.
Okay.
I did not reach out. I don't even have their contact information.
Okay.
Did you send me something about it, John?
You were on the list. Hopefully it got to you. It was a group text about doing meals to go in connection with the church, but the church is closed and the church office is closed, but the food pantry is open. So I'm not sure if we can still use that. Since then, I had another light bulb go off. Care One, which is a facility in Northampton, I believe, had done beef stew for us in meals in to-go containers. And they're doing this drive-by barbecue in a week or two, but they always said to us, if there's anything you need, please ask. They have the ability to cook big meals and to portion them out in single servings. So tomorrow I'm going to reach out to Care One and see if that might be another way of getting individual meals prepared. Last time it was free to us. Of course, it was only 24 people.
Right.
But anyway, that was another thought. I know Francine's going to check into the caterers to see.
Costco has like
Costco has prepared
prepackaged.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a pretty reasonable per person cost. So, yeah, I mean, right now what we need to put together the most to get into ed as soon as we can, once we make a decision, is the pricing estimates and see what gets approved and what doesn't get approved. And then, and while we're waiting for things to be approved, do the background, we can't commit, but we can certainly line up our options. So that's what Care One does.
For in consideration of the food pantry, I mean, they don't do meals to go.
Right.
They just give you the food, and people have to kind of make their own.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's something you're interested in.
Well, what we would do there, I think, we could do
Or
is work
ask.
out an arrangement with them whereby we would pick up the food rather than have the seniors go there and just deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
What they have. And, we'd have to select the items that would be appropriate for them, but that would be,
But would it
a
be
way
the
that we would be of assistance there. They don't deliver food, and some of these folks might not be able to get there, and this would be a help to them.
Mm-hmm.
So who does food?
Well, I talked to Candy a fair amount, so
Right.
I can certainly. Who should I have her call? Joan?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can. I'll talk to her and see if she can call you.
So my question would be, would this be a food pantry on a separate day than every other Saturday? And it's just designed for Southampton seniors? I mean, the logistics of it, because they do, I don't know how many people they do on a Saturday, Josie. I know we donate every 2 weeks food to them, but like you said, it's ingredients that people can use to make food for themselves. But if we set up something, is there a way to use the facility to distribute? And maybe it's not on a Saturday, maybe it's, and again, I don't know what you guys talked about, but it's because they're not going to manage, are you a senior, are you not a senior, are you a senior, are you from Southampton? That's not their thing. Their thing is whoever drives up gets it to go, right? So no questions asked.
I think if we could have an idea of how many seniors would be in this situation, and some of us from Friends could either go there to kind of pre-package boxes and take them and deliver them. It could be, I would think it would work better for them if it was any day other than Saturday, or maybe it was later on Saturday or earlier on Saturday morning, something that doesn't make it so inconvenient for them, but by the same token, not have necessarily these folks going there directly, but having us kind of pick up the food and deliver it to them.
So
and I don't know what kind of agreement they have with the church. I'm not sure if because the church is closed, is the pantry, they're able to get into a certain part of the building, but do they have restrictions on who goes in? I mean, part of it is because the town hall is closed. So
Yeah.
assembling a meal, we can't gather inside the town hall to assemble a meal.
If there were standard food items, we could probably work something out.
Yeah, Pat.
Actually, I could also check with Southampton. For a while, was doing a second, like on a weekly basis. She was doing.
It's on a Wednesday there for families?
Yeah, for families with children. I'd have to talk with her and see if, she's interested in maybe doing something else, switching over to the seniors. But we would probably, if we had a list of what should be included in a bag, we may be able to help with that.
So there's two things, right? There's the luncheon to go, and then there's
Prepared food.
the prepared food to go, and then there's for food insecure seniors. So I don't want to confuse the two. So there's the luncheon to go that we talked about, and then this is for food insecure seniors.
But the luncheon to go would be something I think we could do on our own.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we can help with that.
No,
Right,
no.
okay,
And certainly, we're going to just buy prepared food and distribute it. Either people can drive up and pick it up, and those who can't get there, we'll deliver it to them.
We'll be underneath the new awning.
And my thought on the awning too was, have you ever seen the carports? They're metal or whatever. I wonder if something like that would be sturdier than an awning.
Well,
It would have to be up all the time.
yeah.
I mean, we see carports where people don't have garages, so they put up these carports, and they're permanent, more or less. They don't go up and down.
Yeah, this gives us the option. It's it's how the town has to decide the option of having it covered and having it uncovered. So it's kind of can be a seasonal thing.
But anyway, until then, that may not happen rather quickly. And if we decide to pick a day to, we'll organize, get the food, and pick a day to distribute food, I just think that the church parking lot is kind of set up for people coming and going, and we may have access to indoors versus we can't at the town hall.
So maybe we can borrow their facility or rent their facility where the pantry is, which is different than what we were
Than the
talking
church.
about, doing through the food insecurity.
I'm talking food insecurity. What are you talking?
Yeah, that was food insecurity, yes. And and what Joan was talking about, if we did like a Thanksgiving meal to go, could we use the church parking lot and the facility just to distribute that ourselves, or as the Friends or the COA board or whoever was able to do that, and just use their facility to store and distribute? But maybe
Right,
that's
I think that's a little bit much, and we really can't. The way I think we would have to do it, we'd pick up the prepared food the same day we're going to, within an hour of the pickup time or the delivery time, because we have to be concerned about the temperature and so on and so forth. So I don't know. I don't know that it makes a difference where we do it. I think we could just use that outer driveway of Town Hall around the senior center, and whoever was helping to distribute the food, if the car is pulled up there, no one would have to get out of their car. We just hand it to them.
right. I'm just
And
thinking,
then they can continue on their way around that circle and out.
yeah, because to pull into the parking lot and pull out of the parking lot, there's a
Doesn't
lot
make
that
sense.
doesn't, it's just not, the flow isn't as good. So we would have to be further out, and that would require a tent, not an awning or something if the weather wasn't good, or, just if we could rent for the day to protect us and, from the elements. But yes, so that's separate, Josie, from the
The shelf food.
shelf food for insecure seniors. Yes, food insecure seniors.
So, okay, you're not looking to me, or are you? Because I don't know how we would do the prepared food.
No,
No,
we're
we're
not
not.
looking for
Yeah,
you for
no,
the
okay.
prepared
nothing.
food at all. Nope.
Okay,
That's why I wanted to make sure we weren't,
yeah.
I was trying not to confuse the two and hence did. So,
I think what Joan was asking is, could we distribute the prepared foods using the parking lot at the food pantry, since you already have a route kind of set up? That's what you.
Well, see, we generally, I don't know that I'm a little unclear as to how they're doing it, if they're allowing people to go in
I don't think
or
so.
just the people who work there.
Yeah,
But there is
But yeah.
the porch, which at least has cover. And, we may be able to utilize that. It depends what, we work out.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that we probably need to see if I can get Candy and Sue Teese to, if either of them or both of them are interested, and we could do a conference call with Francine and Joan or something.
Okay.
Yeah. For the food insecurity. Yeah.
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 Fine.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So I'll check with those two.
all this is subject to whomever's responsible for the final application, and how many of these items get in the application. We'll see.
So today at the meeting, he asked that we submitted the items, the cost, and the justification. So
By when?
beginning of next week. So it looks like most of it's already written down, and we could just make another line on the Excel sheet that you did.
Yeah, I'm going to bring the Excel sheet up now once the Friends part is done. So and I'll review the meeting that we had with Chris and Kate. I mean, we have to decide, do we need more iPads type of thing? And the GrandPad is something I wasn't familiar with, but I guess it's a little more user-friendly too for people that aren't technically astute at all. And so people that worked with seniors recommended that. Do you know anything about that, Nancy? Have you ever heard of GrandPads? No, not really. So, and then we talked about having someone like this young person that we know, Megan, Gentile, who does like an hour training for people that really aren't familiar with it. She could, do it either remotely or, and so we provide training. So Joan's not running out to hook somebody up to bingo at the last second, because we've tried to educate people on how to get into Zoom, classes, some of those things. So those, so when we hand the tablet out to somebody, it's not just, here you are, good luck, so we need to.
Actually, that came up today, obviously. Darlene is going to try and write up a sequence of, what to do.
That helps. Yeah, that'll help too.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like a very productive meeting. We'll take a look at this list, Joan, and we'll take a look at the list from Chris's meeting, and we'll try to come up with our request, and to see how we can, be representative in the funding that's available to the town.
Yeah. And just so you know, I already copied Chris Files on this list.
Oh, great.
So she has it already.
She's very proactive for
Yes.
this.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's been doing grants and fundraising. Okay, they're yours
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Thank you, Francine.
Thanks,
I hear
I hear pitter patter.
feet upstairs.
Pitter patter.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
you.
I'm very interested in those GrandPads though, because I think there is some iPads and things that come with some kind of Wi-Fi. I don't know how that all works, but I'll do some research on them.
Okay, I was gonna, because we need to kind of divide and conquer here. Who's got the expertise in what areas and who can help really do a little research. I just kind of did a quick Google search today on GrandPads and probably had more questions than answers at that point. So,
Was there a cost? Did you notice a cost with them?
well, You can, if you sign up for a year, it sounds like you have a monthly cost, but if you do an annual contract, it was like $50 a month, but you pay it upfront. Otherwise, it's like $66 a month. So it's almost like almost like you rent the device or whatever. But and I'm not sure how much that support that covers and so on. So I think I have my the other spreadsheet that we worked on, Joan. Let me see if it's here or not. Probably not.
Oh, it's there.
I may have to go back and locate it. Hold on. Close one down, close another down. Again, we have to be off probably by 20 after, so.
Well, it's about 10 of.
Yep. Ed was having a heart attack that we were going to be using it. Three different groups were going to be using it at the same time or same day.
He got 2 accounts for that reason, but I didn't know there were 3.
Yeah, there's 3 people that need meetings today, so.
Well, that's like Conant Park.
Yeah.
They planned to go to Conant Park, but it was busy.
So does everybody see this okay? So these are some of the things we talked about. So round 1 is on the bottom. We have received some plexiglass, right, Joan? So you had X that out.
Yeah.
So we talked about a duckling station. That's supposed to be a docking station. And
I noticed that in the meeting today. A cute name for it.
And somebody
That was just
changed
very
my
cute.
spelling. Duckling station. And what is that, Josie says? So we have some hand sanitizers, but we still don't have the like standalone or portable ones, right?
Right.
So are we looking into that or?
I was on Amazon yesterday and I didn't look, but
Okay, no, that's okay. I mean, and we can, again, we want to try to help. So we have some disinfectant, right? We've received through CARES.
Yeah, that number, I'm not sure if that's for town hall or just for the.
Yeah, I don't know either. So, and we haven't gotten a Zoom account yet. The signage we keep talking about, and you and Nancy were going to kind of look into that, right? Some
Yeah,
recommendations.
my contact where I work is getting me some information, but basically she got it all at Staples, she said.
Okay.
And I'm happy to look into a little bit more of it if you want.
Yeah, I mean, again, like Francine said, we have until December to spend these funds. It could be expended, it could not be extended. We don't really know. So those
It's hard to say too, because if we're not opening.
Right. But we will be, so what are we going to do when we do open? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to just spend money for fun because it's all our tax money, regardless if it comes from the CARES fund or whatever. We know that it's not on trees, that money. So yeah, we'll look and see what really makes sense and see what they're using. I'm not voting in person, but they'll be using the senior center and I'm sure they'll have some extra signage for that. I'll be curious what that is like. So.
Well, that's a lot different than, next January or whenever the senior center can open.
Right. Yeah. I think
you might not need masks as much.
Right.
But it seems like just a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So signage is, we certainly have to consider it. And so if you can get some examples, Nancy, that would be great. And we need to, I think Ed put these costs together and we don't know some of them if they're for the whole town, like the custodial wages are definitely town hall and COA. But we have to, I'm not sure about the other things. And so some of the things we talked about that probably are more day-to-day things for round 2, hopefully we're talking about a reception desk, right, Joan? You were looking with Conlon on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we found a desk that was $1,000 that had plexiglass and everything. We may have to look at it. Does it on both sides because we're coming into a building that's, it's an open space.
Right.
So I suppose it could be a bubble. We could put her in a bubble.
That would be fun. So the grab and go lunch dinners that we talked about, 2 meals, maybe one in November and one in December, sort of like the November towards Thanksgiving. It may not be turkey. It depends on what we can look at, either Costco or One Care or Care One, and see what we can come up with. But again, we need to put how much our estimated cost, and then the newsletter is going to be due in no time, right, Joan?
Next week, yeah.
Next week. So if we're going to do this, we have to get it ready to go to put in the newsletter.
Right.
And then technology training, if we can, put something in there for that, so that, like you said, when we do have the iPads and the tablets and the grandpads or whatever, we have a go-to person that somebody could call and say, I need help with this. Maybe she'll charge $50 for the hour, for the call or whatever. But so came up with a dollar amount for that. The retractable awning, I guess that's kind of, I understand, Joan, your comment about the oversized garage thing. I'm just trying to visualize where that would be, and it has sides, so that becomes a challenge. I mean, it's open this way, and I don't know how wide it needs to be. So, and we can look at pricing for that too.
Well, I'm just thinking with the winter coming, not that we would be outside anyway.
Right. Okay, but that's something. And then how often would we use it? I mean, it's
surprising that that space is used for meetings a lot right now, but could we have put, a piece of exercise equipment out there so somebody could use it outside our door? We could have. I mean, they're on wheels. So even though someone couldn't come in the building, I probably could have put it outside the building and let somebody use it. But, it's some of those things you don't think about, really. I mean,
we have to make sure it's disinfectant and not people that are using it that, you're going to roll it in and out every, day or.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a good idea. Most people, if it's nice outside, are probably out not using exercise equipment. And then when they want to come in.
That's when they use the equipment. That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, newsletter prep. So Joan's been talking about looking at sending out the newsletter, since people were printing it, nobody's getting it. Even though we emailed to maybe 80 to 90 people, there's still a few hundred that never see it. So
we have a list of 1,100 plus.
Okay. I mean, we have 2,000 seniors in town.
Some are couples, so I think it's per house.
Right, per household, but it's probably not half of that. So anyway, that's so we need to look at that and the cost. And so Joan's talking to somebody that can fold it and put the stamp, the labels, things on the labels, fold it and adhere it so that it can go through the postage. So Joan's looking into that right now. Hotspots for Wi-Fi. I don't even know where to begin with that. I mean, does anybody have any idea about what's behind that if we wanted to set something up somewhere?
No clue.
It's usually phone related, and so I don't know.
I heard somebody, don't remember who, say that they set up their phone on for a hotspot, and it just really eats up all your data.
Yeah.
So it'd be a big cost for the data, I'm sure.
Yeah, so we'll need to, that may be a little bit over the top. And then the activity books that Francine mentioned, she also mentioned care bags. So do you want to talk about the list that Francine had before? I know you don't have it in front of you.
Can I just interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Francine forgot a piece of information for friends, and you'll see it in the newsletter that they've waived the fees for the Friends group for the next coming year for 2021 because the center closed in March and they felt that people didn't receive what they would have received if the center was open. So the November newsletter will state that you can become a member for free. So we'll hopefully
No,
get.
that's not quite how I understand it, Joan.
No?
My understanding is that you can become, if you paid your membership in 2020, that you will extend it another year.
Okay,
If you haven't paid anything, I don't know why Mike.
okay. She's
The
supposed to write something up for me.
Okay, yeah. My understanding was if they didn't pay for 2020, it wasn't that they got a free next year. It's that you get the additional year free for having paid in 2020.
I understand.
So it's not waiving it for,
New people.
right.
Okay, very good.
So anyway, I'm
That makes
fancying
more
it right.
sense. I'm glad I brought it up, and I'm glad you clarified that.
Well, I could be wrong too, so.
But that makes more sense because you don't want to turn people away if people want to become a member and want to donate. Yeah.
so
Can you repeat that just for the minutes? I didn't catch.
my part? So if you paid for a membership to the Friends of the Southampton Council on Aging in 2020, it will be extended another full year into 2021. So you get 2 years for the price of one. Does that make sense?
Because, why?
Because actually they couldn't do anything. They had no activities to support for the whole, since early March. So they really weren't able to use their Friends membership in 2020. So hopefully we can use it in 2021. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And my lights are starting to flicker.
Mine
So
are
just so
too.
you know, if I.
Mine are too.
Yeah, it's getting very windy over here.
Yes, we're supposed to have severe thunderstorms. That's what the message I got on my phone before.
So what else is on our agenda? Maybe we should.
Yeah, well, so so we need a couple people that will help Joan kind of do some research on some of those funds, some of those activities to finalize the list. Do we have anybody that would like to work with Joan on that? I know, Josie, you're going to help work on the food pantry for
Yeah.
food insecure seniors.
I'll get signage info.
Okay, signage from Nancy. Okay.
I'll tell you, it's freaking out my cat.
I know. Okay, so we'll work on this, Joan. If there's anybody have any other ideas as far as any other thoughts about how do you feel about the awning versus the garage thing, versus a stand. The tent, we can always just rent a tent as needed, maybe for those 2 meals and not invest in anything. But, again, that it gets pretty sunny by the building. So if we want an awning, that would kind of protect people as well. So.
Are you still at the center, Joan?
Yes, 4 days a week.
No, right now.
Oh, no, I left.
You're home?
I'm
Yes,
home.
she's home.
Oh, good. Okay, I was going to say, you should get home. Ugh.
Everybody's home. That's the good news.
Yeah.
Okay, and any thoughts or comments on the group luncheon to go, the lunch to go thing? Anybody want to share? Any of the board members? Any thoughts you have? Yvonne, you're in the dark. Did you go dark already?
No, that's
Oh, okay.
because it's dark outside.
Okay, we just lost you too. So we're gonna get kicked off here. Okay, so Joan, have you been able to download the application for the state formula grant?
No.
So that's kind of a priority. So we don't have to budget and divide it up, but we do need to submit the application, right? Or whatever.
I will check with Kathy Bowler tomorrow. I looked a week ago and it wasn't there, so.
Right, I've looked too and I haven't seen it, so.
I'll check with Kathy Bowler.
Are we losing people? I think we just lost a couple people.
Okay. So.
I don't see Nancy anymore.
And she's our secretary or the.
And I don't see Josie anymore. So,
And we may have lost Kay a long time ago. I don't.
Kay's still here, but she hasn't unmuted her phone. So I messed her up because I think the feedback was coming from the phone.
Right.
Okay, I think we need to schedule our next meeting. And because of the weather, I think we should log off before we lose everything.
Yep.
So the next meeting, and I'll let Nancy know, November 4th. Okay,
Yep. 4th at 4.
at 4 o'clock. Okay, and we're going to adjourn the meeting at 5:05. Yes, Nancy just sent me a text that they lost power. So everybody be safe.
Say,
You know, we lost Yvonne, and we will talk to you soon, okay?
be well. Talk to you
All
tomorrow.
right, thank you. Okay, will do. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.